I'm your host, Bradley Martin, and this is Clearing the Way, a resource for small business owners. Hello, humans. Welcome back to Clearing the Way. I am your host, Bradley Martin. My goal is to be the learning resource for small business owners. I talk with sales and HR experts, small business owners, and anyone else that I think can provide information to clear your way to success. My guest today is Jose Rosa, owner or co-owner, I guess we'll say, of Everest Eats. Jose attended Newberry College, where he played baseball. He graduated in 2010 with a bachelor's in business administration. Jose spent the next few years traveling the world coaching baseball. 2013, he moved to Pennsylvania and began a career in environmental health and safety. This career introduced him to the various chemicals that we are exposed to in our everyday lives. He and his wife, Katy, began making several lifestyle changes to combat these toxins. They began regularly practicing meditation, yoga, and eventually made the transition to plant-based foods. In November of 2019, they made the plunge into small business, opening Everest Eats, a plant-based meal delivery service in the Pittsburgh area. Jose reached out to me not long after that, and we've kind of been working together off and on ever since. They've continued to expand their services, their service areas, and they're offering catering, training. They've hosted several tasting events that have been super successful. And as someone who is not plant-based, I can confirm that their food is quite tasty. Everest Eats is currently working on a crowdfunding project to expand into a larger kitchen space. And I know that's been a whole challenge of its own, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But for now, Jose, thanks for being a guest on Clearing the Way. Did I get everything right there? Anything wrong?
Man, you've really surprised me. I'm like, who's this guy? I mean, he
Google's
knows
a wonderful
everything.
thing.
Yeah, right.
Google is a...
How much more do you know?
Google is a wonderful tool for this.
Thank you for having me.
For sure. Episode number 5, I believe, unless I change the order of which these are released. So, all right. So let's start let's start with childhood, schooling, see if there's anything of note there. So obviously you played baseball.
Yeah.
Did you play any other sports in high school or anything like that?
Yeah, so childhood, grew up in a small town outside of Gainesville, Florida, which is like swamp, University of Florida, called Keystone Heights, out in like all the lakes and stuff. So grew up in a nice environmentally friendly place.
Yeah.
Went to school in Gainesville, called PK Young. It's like the laboratory school of the University of Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just like the little research kids and stuff.
Okay.
But grew up in a very diverse area. I mean, African American, just all different kinds of races from all different parts of the world. So I just in a real melting pot of diversity. So I was very fortunate to see that.
Yeah.
Growing up.
What did you say? Just baseball? Anything else there?
So I played baseball, but it's funny. My senior year, I played soccer. My very last year.
That's weird. Did you play before that, or did
no.
Okay, just decided to.
I can talk about that if you'd like.
Just picked it up at what? Yeah, what caused? Caused you to decide to pick up that senior year?
Since I was 5 years old, I had been a catcher, and for those of you that know baseball, a catcher, you got to have quick feet. You got to be really good, agile on your feet. So I just had really good foot skills. I had always had a passion, but I grew up just playing baseball my whole life.
Okay.
Just every season. I mean, growing up in Florida, there are no, like up here, it's just every month of the year is baseball.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's true. Yeah. There is no okay. Yeah. So were single sport athletes more common down there?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. Because, baseball in Florida, you're committed. You're committed to that sport. Yeah. And it's like, the baseball guys don't like the lacrosse guys and just, a little drama like that. But so one day during fall ball, we had just finished practice and the soccer team is up there on the field. So I was just like, whatever, I'm going to go up there and just play with these cats. So I go in and just they pass me the ball. I'm juking these kids and doing all these things and scoring goals. And everyone's like, dude, like, you gonna play this year or what? And then next thing you know, out of the woods, like out of nowhere, the coach, because, you know, during that time, during the preseason time, the coach is only supposed to be watching. He can't talk to the kids. He comes out of nowhere and it's like, hey, man, hey, are you playing this season? Like, who are you? Where'd you come from? And I'm like, no, I mean, I'll ask my dad. I play baseball, man. Yeah, I play baseball. I'm just up here just messing around. Yeah. Like, so I went home, asked my dad. I said, Dad, like, well, first of all, the coach was like, you have to play. You got to. So I was like, Dad, all right, whatever. Can I play?
Let me decide if I have to.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to, you know, I had some college scholarship offers and stuff like that. So I didn't want to get hurt, go play another sport, get hurt, whatever. My dad was like, listen, if you really want to play, that's fine. But you play, like, careful. You know, like, don't play smart, play careful, no sliding and tackling people and that kind of stuff. But just, you know. So I did. And I ended up, dude, like, player of the year, like our local news channel. Like, I scored 2 out of 3 goals to take us into regional finals. I mean, and by the end of the year, everyone's cheering, Jose, 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 Jose. And like people like all these stories that I was this player from Brazil that came and like came in the halftime of the middle of a game and just, it was crazy. But I ended up winning all these awards and just being really good at soccer. So
that's interesting. So do you wish you would have picked that up earlier?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I think
did you like soccer more than baseball, do you think? Or I
just didn't know. I never got that perspective. You know, I never like went and played a little kid's soccer team, organized sport. Just never. That was my first time really stepping foot on organized sport.
Well, is soccer, I mean, I always think like Florida, I feel like is a baseball state. Yeah. Was soccer big down there? Okay.
The closer you are to the Caribbean, my friend, and like, you know, like down further, warmer weathers and stuff. Yeah. More cultures because soccer's, I mean, baseball.
So how in the world did you not get introduced to that? Like as a formal sport, like how did that happen earlier?
I don't know. I think we were just, the focus was just so much on baseball.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that like, my parents like, oh, you have to play baseball. It's like, all right,
you were just committed. Into baseball. Yeah,
we're gonna sign up for this league. So they're running around like crazy. So that's I never just got introduced.
That's wild. Okay, so that's kind of crazy. All right. So then, as a student, what kind of student were you?
Oh man, I was definitely a class clown.
Okay.
Class clown. I mean, but, you know, class clown out of respect. You know, I wasn't disrespectful to the teachers and stuff. Just, you know, funny comments here, this and that. Just smart, like real smart aleck comments, that kind of stuff. But just kind of student, always laughing, joking with everybody. Like, I mean, I just always like accepted everybody for who they were. No judgments at all. Probably in some time of my life, there was some judgment. But anyways,
high school. I mean, it's tough to have.
But you know, always saying hi to people, and you know, just a student, probably 3.5 GPA. So I mean, I got it. You know, I got it done. I knew that I needed good grades to go to the next level.
Yeah. Was school something that was natural for you? Like, did you have to try pretty hard, or just pretty natural thing?
Pretty natural.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you, at that point, have any, kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but it'll tie in. At that point, did you know what you want to do? Actually, let's start there. Did you know what you wanted to do out of high school other than baseball?
No, honestly. Well, no. I knew I wanted to not just play baseball, but also be a baseball coach.
Okay.
Because the position of catcher on the field is like the position of quarterback in football or any other, you know, leadership position. I'm the only person on the field that has the full view of the entire field.
Yeah.
You know? So I knew I was always leading, directing people, even helping the catcher that was competing with me, helping him to for him to get me better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew I wanted to do that at the next level.
Okay. So when you went to Newberry, did you plan on leaving college and coaching? Like, was that the plan the whole time, or what did you actually did you see that being your job? Like, you wanted to get in that field, but did you actually like envision yourself being able to coach?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Oh, because I was already coaching when I came back for summer from in college. I was already coaching the JV team of my high school and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, the vision was always there to be a coach, because like I said, I always loved helping and teaching and coaching people to be better, just people than when they left me.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So that that's interesting. So you went there, you knew what the plan was. Anything of like significance happened while you were at school that was like foreshadowing? Like, was there any, was college kind of just, obviously you played baseball there, but was there anything in particular that you started to, like, your perspective started shifting on what you wanted to do, or anything like that? So
I just knew, I mean, college was fun. That's college. It's fun. You do learn a lot. You learn as much as you really want to put in. But yeah, I mean, it really didn't change any perspectives going into, I just knew I had my full focus that I knew I wanted to be a coach. So, my vision was just, okay, go back home after, save some money, start getting into debt and stuff. Become a coach. I did have a regular job, started as a medical insurance, like,
I missed that.
Customer service.
Missed that in my research. I'll get you next time.
Yeah. But the ultimate vision was always coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you left there and started coaching. How did that come about? Where did you go? Like, how long did that? I think it was a few years there, but like, what did that look like?
So I left the medical insurance job because I said, well, let me get closer to the kids. I started substitute teaching, you know. It was my old school. I had gone there. That school was kindergarten through 12th grade. So I was what's called a lifer.
Okay. Yeah.
So I started in kindergarten, and I all the way up through 12th grade graduated.
Okay. That's wild.
So yeah.
All in the same school?
All in the same school. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so strange.
Yeah.
Was it at least kind of divided, or?
It was divided by a creek, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. So not in the same building.
No.
Okay.
You had more like layers of building up at the top, elementary school, and then like middle school, and then high school.
That makes a lot more sense.
But all on the same
That's
campus.
Way less weird. Yeah. That's way less weird. Okay. I take back the weirdness.
Okay. The guy next to me was a senior.
Yeah, like I was just traveling the halls together. Like, that'd be so strange.
He's my big buddy too.
Yeah, that'd be so strange. Okay. So you started subbing. And so you started coaching locally, I'm assuming, and then how did that kind of grow from there?
So I started coaching at PK Young, my high school, substitute teaching there. And then, what was it? I assistant or head junior varsity coach, then assistant varsity coach. And then literally like at the age of, 25 or 24, 25, I'm getting an offer from like the top private school in Gainesville to be the head coach. So I was like,
that's exciting.
The youngest, like at that time, the youngest high school head coach, from what I remember, in the state of Florida. So I was 25 years old.
That's a good start.
Yeah, it was cool. It was good. It was really fun.
Okay, so obviously you took that job. How long were you there?
Yeah, so I was there 1 year because I was also, so I had helped this guy start a business called Game Ready Scout Day. Okay. So when I wasn't coaching high school and substitute teaching or whatever, during the summer, I was basically getting kids onto this platform. Okay. So imagine a platform where you come on and you have access to all college coaches from all across the country. You have a database.
Okay.
And you're building a profile, like a Facebook profile or something like that. And then you're just sending it to your information to those coaches.
Like it's a sports resume.
Exactly.
Like here's my stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was running camps and clinics and doing all of that with these kids and helping them market themselves to college coaches.
Okay. So when you were doing that, so was that kind of natural? Like helping them do that?
Oh, yeah.
Like the marketing side, like you're helping pitch yourselves or the kids to the coaches. Was that natural for you, or did you have learning to do with that? Like how did you handle that?
So the guy that I worked with, his name was Chuck White. He's the one that told me to do that in high school, senior year. Because, okay, so I'm 5'7", guys. All right. I'm a short guy. All right. And I was a catcher, but I was a good catcher. But college coaches were looking for, 5'9", 6'1", like my size. Pudge Rodriguez was like the only one my size doing his thing. Okay. So I would go to these camps and be first best pop time, third best 60-yard dash time, this and that. And I'm like, I'm not getting noticed. So he told me, he said, get a profile together, get with your dad, get all your information together, and pull all these emails from all these different college coaches and just blast them. Just blast them. And next thing you know, I'm getting 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, a school up Keystone College up here in Pennsylvania, Newberry College, did other colleges. So I was already, that's how I learned, like, really the first marketing, that was marketing.
Yeah.
Is just get your name, get your information and get it out there and see what bites.
So then you start doing that for the kids in that group or in that were associated with that. Yeah. But were you doing anything else so how long had he been doing that? Like, did you help him start or?
No. Well, I think, honestly, I don't know. I'm convinced that he may have gotten that idea from just helping me and seeing that. Yeah, seriously. And then that's why it kind of evolved. Like, I was his very first, employee sort of helping him, and I was pulling all the data, the coach's emails and updating the database and all that stuff, Okay. So, so he kind of pulled me in, and that's how I got started helping these kids out.
So what else were you were doing the coaching, you were helping with, we'll call it the marketing for the kids, but were you doing anything else on the business side with him, or was that kind of the extent of your
I was traveling the world. I was traveling the world, okay? And when school time came back, high school baseball, I was back. But other than that, I was going to Guatemala, Puerto Rico, Thailand, Europe, Spain. I lived in Sweden for 6 months, and I was coaching in Sweden for 6 months. Baseball.
And was that all associated with that company, or?
It was. Kind of, yes. Okay. Yes, it was because think other kids in other countries. Most of them don't have organized college sports. Yeah. The United States is one of the few places in the world that has organized college sports. Okay. So that's why you have a lot of kids from other countries. They're either going semi-pro and then pro, or they're going, college in the United States. For all sports. Yeah. Not just, Yeah. Yeah.
So was that just for baseball, or were you doing that for like
all sports?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. So you were doing, Yeah. So you were traveling and coaching, but also training on this platform or whatever the system was.
Yes.
That's cool. Okay. And you did that for how long did you do that?
Man, that had to have been probably, I came up here at 26 years old. So I'd been doing that even in college when I was coming back for summer. So probably since 18 to 26. So what, 8 years?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that, why'd you stop?
I came up to Western Pennsylvania to start working in the oil and gas industry.
Okay. So what actually led to that decision?
So
I'm assuming you were enjoying yourself doing.
I was.
It seems like that was the plan.
I was, yes. I was enjoying myself.
Okay.
I was traveling the world. I was doing all these things. Then I basically started chasing the money.
Okay.
Yeah, started chasing the money. I was getting all these trips paid for and all these different things, but I wasn't, I was getting my travel paid for, and I didn't have many overhead expenses, but I also wasn't making much, and the career of actual coaching is not that lucrative, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's tough to actually start an adult life with the money that you're making with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you stopped doing. How difficult was that decision, actually? Because that feels like if that's been the goal.
Yes.
Through school, through college, the goal was coach. You've been doing it for 8 years, and now you're leaving that. You're perfect. You're perfect thing. This is what you planned on doing.
Uprooting, leaving, going to an ancient place, like a place where I don't know anybody. But that's just always how I've been. It's been my personality. It's just go in that direction, see where the world takes you, and just make the best of it,
Okay. So, okay.
Okay, so I trust, I put my trust in someone that I really respected. Okay. It was my college baseball coach.
Okay.
My college baseball coach came after my senior year. I was planning on going with him because if he was continuing to coach and coaching as a grad assistant.
Okay.
Okay. So that was my plan. But he came up here and started working for the oil and gas industry.
Okay.
For two of his former players, which were the CEO, which was the owners of the gas company.
Okay.
So I had my in. Okay. Yeah. I had no clue about the oil and gas industry, nothing. But I knew how to manage people. And he knew that I knew how to manage people, and he trusted me. So that's what kind of, it wasn't just uproot everything and that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It was the money's right. The person's here.
Yeah.
I trust that person.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. That makes way more sense.
You look like you're trying to figure it out. So
I
had to give it to you.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay. So how did you end up? So what was your position? Or it doesn't have to be specific. The environmental health and safety, that's the general field.
Yes.
How did was that just kind of happenstance? Was that where he was at? Or
exactly, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the position that he was at. Basically, it was just like a field manager. It didn't evolve into an actual environmental health and safety position until later on.
Okay.
The first position was field operations coordinator or something like that. Probably. Okay. Didn't even really have a name because the company was so young. I was just helping them grow and keep my eyes on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's a huge change. What was that transition like, going from doing exactly what you wanted to being in oil and gas?
My first winter was the polar vortex of 2013. I think that was the first time they even called it a polar vortex. I don't know, but negative 19 degrees.
Okay.
In a truck, step outside, your throat just freezes up. It was rough because I went from complete freedom to borderline
freedom doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah, it's man.
Freedom doing exactly what you had been planning to do.
Exactly. The dollar signs got in the way. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
To working
oil and gas hours.
18 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
Sleeping on site.
A day.
Yeah. Not a week.
Yeah.
A day.
Yeah.
And then by the time you get home, you're already having to come back. And it was just, yeah. I don't want, I'm not going to go down that way.
So how long did you end up, okay, so that would have been, how long did you end up doing that? Roughly.
Well, until 2 years ago when I started Everest Eats. Officially started Everest Eats.
So what? Like
November of 2019 was when we LLC'd. So it was probably like January of 2019. So 2013 to 2019.
So when you were, did you kind of, how long did it take for you to be in that industry that you were like, I got to get out of here? And did you know what was next?
I didn't. I just kept going with like my experience, what I'd already done. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I thought like, oh, I can use my resume to apply to this similar job, but I can't do this because I don't know what this might look like, you know, or so yeah. And you know, I did enjoy it because to some extent, the part that I did enjoy was, you know, I was the guy looking out for all of these people's safety.
Yeah.
Whether they think like I'm there to bust their, you know, their cojones or whatever. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. But it's weird because it is strange. It makes sense because it is most of the time the things that those people which was you, are harping on is like, dude, just let me do this the unsafe but quicker way. And it makes sense because it's just like, I'm out here 18 hours a day too. Let me do it how I want to do it. Yeah. But the purpose of those positions is, hey, I'm just trying to make sure your arm doesn't get cut off. Like,
I'm trying to make sure you're aware. Yeah. Like you're focused, you're concentrating, you're in the moment. You know? Yeah.
So you didn't completely hate it.
No.
But at what point, like,
I enjoyed the coaching aspect of it.
Okay.
I enjoyed the teaching and the coaching aspect.
That kind of carried through. Did you like at what point did you realize that there might be a way at what point did you realize you might want to do something on your own? Or did that kind of just happen?
Listen, man, I have always known that I wanted to be on my own.
Okay.
Because I just my form of thinking and my ability to like see better for situations and things and all that stuff, like it's way above even most of the time like the owners of those businesses. Yeah. You know? But what I notice is like the more you try to create like change and for the better, the more you were met with just friction. Yeah. You know? Because most people don't like to change.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is, I mean, obviously you don't know, like going back, I'm sure you could approach those things differently, but the getting people to change or leading them to change, that's its own art form in itself. Mm-hmm. Like, because nobody likes to be told that they're doing things wrong.
Sure.
Unless it's done in a way that's like, it doesn't destroy your ego. You know, it's so you have to be and at that point, you'd only been dealing with kids really. Yeah. So while I'm sure you had, I don't know, I wasn't there, but I'm sure there were some of those things in the friction that's like, maybe I could have approached these topics a little bit differently, you know, like be a little tactful or a little more like you're only dealing with kids. And when you're telling them the better way, they have no idea.
Sure.
They have no experiences yet. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting. So at what point do you think you did realize that you were going to do it? Like since you started working?
So I'm going to go back real quick to the kids thing. Okay. So like I was talking to people, you know, people with like ingrained beliefs, right? So from a safety standpoint, okay, if John, all right, saw his grandpa cutting a piece of wood on his leg, you know, and that's the only way that he saw his grandpa do it.
That's the only way to do it.
That's the only way. It's an ingrained belief. So what I was working on with these people is just like, quit, you know.
Doesn't have to.
It's not common sense. Yeah. That person may not know, help each other out. And that's why I was able to, and like you said, the culture of change, I was able to take a company, okay, one of the largest water hauling companies in this area, from like 15 OSHA recordables, which is like a huge thing, to like getting ready to lose contracts and all that stuff, to going close to 2 years without an OSHA recordable.
That's pretty solid.
By changing the culture, changing the thinking around safety. Yeah. You know?
So did you have a method to that? Like, how were you doing it? Because that's, I mean, sure, it doesn't have to do with the current business, but that's an important piece. That's an important piece that anybody can take something from.
Well, first, the first way you do is you start earning everyone's respect. Yeah. From the get. Yeah. Okay. So 2016 was when Katy had finished her degree in environmental science and started learning about plant-based and all this stuff. Yeah. That wormhole. Yeah. So we were going down that path. Okay. So I was using that to help. Okay. A guy came on location, 5 guys came on. Hey man, did you know this and this? What are you drinking there? You know what I mean? Like, did you know this was in it? Start helping someone on a different level to where, you know, because the biggest thing these guys were saying is like the head safety guy is in the office all the time. You know? Like, why do they care? Yeah. You know? So someone out there actually caring about them and caring about their safety, that's how you start. Yeah. You know?
And then introducing new ideas isn't coming from a position of authority. It's coming from a position of, while it might be from technically a position of authority, it's a peer who's actually, like, there's a relationship there.
There's an explanation why.
Yes. It's not because I told you so.
Yeah. That's what, there's my
You're
connection.
Actually looking out for me.
That's the connection between the kid and the adult. There's no difference there. You want to know why. Yeah. And you explain why, and you explain it from a respectful point of view. Yeah. Then you have their support. Yeah. You have their buy-in.
Huh. Okay. All right. That's good. So, okay. So on to Everest Eats. That's a lot. That's a lot of good.
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
Not yet. I mean, this is the point. There's not a real flow or structure. If we get sucked into rabbit holes, they're probably going to be beneficial. So, okay. So, anything else before you left oil and gas that was?
Yeah. So 2016, Katy started her degree. And or she didn't start. She had her AA nutrition, and I can't remember what it was, but nutrition and just culinary stuff. She wanted to be that direction. But she also was working in oil and gas as well. So that's where we met. We met at the oil and gas company. So all of this happened for a great reason. So she wanted to finish her bachelor's degree. So she was like, oh, you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to go in, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, we love going hiking. Like, we love the environment. Yeah. Just go learn about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Go. Yeah. I mean, it's not, you know, she's spending all this time trying to figure out, like, do what you love. Yeah. Where can you see yourself? Yeah. She had the belief that, like, she wasn't good enough for college. She wasn't good at school, you know, just that layer of, you know, so part, you know, obviously as a good husband and a good partner is like, you know, pushing that other person. Like, hey, you are good at it. You're good at this, and this. You're better at this and this than I am. So go, just do it. Yeah. So she went. She did it. First class. Intro to Environmental Science. She went, she bought the book, and she's reading it, and this and that. Like, I don't even know if it was after the first day. I mean, she might have read the whole book after her. I don't know. But she came back with this absolute, like, wave of energy. You know, it's just this wave of, like, okay, and I felt it. I was like, all right, what's going on here? Like, she's like, you're not gonna believe what I'm learning about. And I'm like, okay, let's hear it. And she just boom. I remember it. Every single environmental issue that's going on, like, the major cause is a certain industry. Yeah. Okay. And she was like, I can't eat meat anymore. And And I'm like, what?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm like,
but I like this stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay, being a baseball athlete, you got to get your protein, and which is like the biggest myth ever. But we'll go down that way. Gotta get your protein. Dad's a hunter. Grew up hunting. All this stuff, But like, there was just something inside of me that said like path of least resistance. Like, just show some respect. Let's learn.
Yeah.
Open. Let me sit back and you just tell me why.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Because although most diets are, very emotional, right? Very emotional, and like it's hard to let go of something like a belief in terms of food. I was willing to be completely open-minded and let go, So we went down that wormhole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that would have been, that's 2016, you said?
Yes. Yeah. So we went, you want me to continue?
Yeah,
all right,
for sure.
We went plant-based, or she said, let's go vegetarian. Okay. All right, cool. We'll try vegetarian, whatever. I like cheese. I really like cheese. I can't give up cheese. Okay, whatever. I don't care. So she starts cooking these meals. And I'm like, wow, like, this is good. This is really good. What are you doing? What do you put in this? Like, what is this? She's telling me, and I'm, we're just like, wow, I'm starting to lose some weight. I feel like I have more energy. I feel lighter. So she starts cooking this food, and so we go 4 months vegetarian. Well, then she goes 1 week. All right. She didn't tell me. She didn't tell me that she was going vegan. Okay. Basically vegan means cutting out dairy, eggs, anything with an animal base. Yeah. For people that don't know. Yeah. Right. So she did that for 1 whole week. All right. After that week, she was, and I remember that week specifically because like she was coming out. I mean, I don't know if she was hitting Pinterest or whatever, like all these, coming up with all these creative things. And I'm like, what is going on? And then at the end of the week, she comes up and she says, hey babe, I've been cooking vegan for the last week. I was like, I don't care what you've been doing. Keep doing it. Yeah. I don't care. Yeah. But the only restriction that I have is we just bought 10 pounds of cheese, so we have to eat that. I don't want to waste it. I'm not going to waste it, right? Yeah,
of course not.
So Friday's pizza night. Every Friday we used to do pizza night. It's not anymore. We should probably get back to that. But anyways,
yeah, I mean your pizza's good.
Yeah, I know.
Your pizza's solid.
Pizza. Why don't we have pizza night every week?
Yeah.
I remember it. I was like, all right, cool. Well, we got to use up all this cheese. Let's make 2 big pizzas. Just dump all the cheese on and go to eat that cheese and that pizza. And I remember I never felt more sick in my entire life. Okay. Stomach bubbling and gas. And, I don't want to get too in depth, but, just stuff coming out, just the other end, just not pleasant. Yeah. Okay. And I remember making that connection and feeling like a different way. And that was when I realized in my life, you don't know what one way feels like until you've experienced another for an extended period of time. Yeah. And for me, it only took a week to feel the difference. So after that, that's when I made that connect and that disconnect with like, I know what that feels like. I don't want my body to feel that way. Yeah. So then I started going down that wormhole in terms of dairy. Yeah. Yeah.
So that would have been, so you're still in oil and gas at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2019 rolls around. How long roughly do you think you guys had before that? Had you made that switch before you left?
Before we didn't leave, it left us. Okay. We got fired. Okay. I got fired. Katy, one of the biggest clients, divested in Appalachia Shale or whatever. that was the only company that her company was working for.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. It was also a problem because Katy was 1.5, or we had a 1.5 year old Everest, which is the name, the inspiration to the company. And she was 6 months pregnant with Denali. Okay. I lost my job first. And then a few months later, she had lost her job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so you had a couple month head start. What did you think you were going to do?
Dude, we had already had like we'd had this little food truck party because we thought like, okay, maybe we start a food truck and this and that. And so we had this party where we brought our friends in, we had little surveys, and we literally, we had a miniature taste testing, like the one at Bachelors, but like miniature with family.
Yeah.
And I mean, the feedback that we got was just absolutely amazing. Then we'd go to parties and bring the pad thai, Katy's famous pad thai, which is on the menu every week. So check it out. And people it'd be like the first thing to go. And just, people just eating our food and then looking at us kind of like, when are you going to start your business? So we had the idea prior to, and it was, but we just she was sitting on a cake job. I lost my job, but she was still sitting on a cake job. So it's like, okay, I'll, work on finding something.
Yeah.
But I'd seen the vision way long. For so long. When in all reality, I was waiting for like that kick in the butt. Yeah. Yeah.
You got it.
Then the universe said, "Ooh,
here it is.
What,
2 feet too, not just one. I'm giving you both feet."
Yeah. And I remember the day I looked over at Katy after that happened. I said, this is our sign. We either, it's go time.
Yeah.
We either go or we, just sit back and, with our backs against the wall and curl up in a ball.
Yeah.
It's go time.
So, okay. And that's what led me to starting Didius too.
There you go.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. I remember when you started Didius.
Didius. So when you started, you've got, I'll hopefully talk to Katy and have her in at some point. So I'll get her backstory too. But you had a little bit of the background in not running, but at least you've got the idea of how those businesses operate, like the smaller businesses can operate, with your experience with the coaching platform, whatever whatever you want to call that. What did you, when you were starting out, what were the biggest things that were in your way? Like, what were those things that were really difficult to overcome? Or maybe there weren't any at the beginning. Like that's also very possible. My guess is, given the niche market, and also, which is both positive, but that field or that area has its stigma attached to it, clearly. Plus, you're in the food industry, so you've got extra regulations on top of that. Like, what did you, how was that? How was it to start a business like that?
So, Katy will tell you this. We knew we had 2 cars. We knew we had somebody that could cook, and we knew we had some packaging. Okay. I mean, honestly, we started with friends and family. Okay. It wasn't like, go get your license and go, buy a commercial kitchen and, this, because all we had was the money that we cashed in. We did the most unconventional thing. We cashed in our 401k. Okay. I don't know. I'm not giving any financial advice, but that's what we did. My mentality was, let me bring my own money into my own hands. I don't want to wait. Whatever. I'll pay the penalty or whatever. So we had that. We had this idea. We had the creativity. But the biggest boundary there was like self-doubt and Katy's perspective on a business. All right. Because prior to meeting me, she had gone through a previous marriage where her husband was a business owner.
Okay.
That was married to the business, basically.
Okay.
So
so
you get where I'm going there. Yeah. Her perspective of a business was a negative one.
Yeah.
Okay. So she did not want to start a business.
Okay.
I mean, persistence.
Yeah.
Okay. Like persistence and explaining why. Right. I've always been good at that. That's why I'm good at influencing people. Is you just explain why.
Yeah.
That was my coaching method. It's like, put your hands up like this, put your fingers like this, do this, this, and this. Here's why. Here's the motion of your body. Here's the rotation. Keep your eyes here. It's the same thing. So that was the biggest blockage.
Okay.
Roadblock.
Okay. So how long did it take you to kind of push her through that? And after you actually started, was that something that continued? Like, was there still that?
Oh yeah, man.
Almost like imposter syndrome or something like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there was times where Katy didn't think she could cater to 30 people, and now we're catering to 200. Like we did an event that had 250 people at it. You know, so it was just those mental blockages, because I'm the type of person that, like I said, I was the only person that had full view of the field and full vision. So I can see the pieces coming together, and I can envision and create the path in my mind. In terms of execution, not so much, because I'm like, I'm over there, you know, like I already told you where to go. Yeah. And I can show you the way, but you know, you got to come in behind me and connect the dots. Yeah. Right. So it took a lot of like just explaining. And for her, it was very it wore her down a lot, because, you know, I can talk a lot and I can tell you why and this and that, but you know, it just, the stress and everything.
It's a lot. I mean, owning a business is a lot. Like there's a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
Especially when you're 6 months pregnant.
Yeah, and you have a 1-year-old. Like that's,
and you don't have a steady income.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of stress without starting a business.
Sure, exactly. But we overcame that. You know, we overcame that with just like, you know, positivity. You gotta switch that mindset. You go through that, like that fear, whatever, but then you come out of it and you just take that next step.
Yeah. Did you, when you guys were starting, once you actually, how long did you allegedly go before you made everything official?
Okay, so yeah, it was probably like 2 months or 3 months, like we were going and doing, and then it just started gaining some traction, gaining attention, and this weird email like reached out to us and was just like, oh, I heard, you know, it doesn't look like you're out of a commercial kitchen and all this stuff. So we got scared and we just, you know, there's the other kick. Yeah. There's the other kick. Yeah. You know, it's like we waited until someone gave us the kick, and so that was 2019. November 2019 is when we LLC.
Okay. And then at what point, how long did it take you to work through that? Like from the time that you got the, hey, what are you doing email, to we found a kitchen, and what was that like, finding your first spot? Because I know I don't know at what point we met.
We were, that was our very first kitchen in Carnegie.
Yeah, at Hungry for Time.
Hungry for Time. Shut up, Sam. What's up?
Yeah, I'll have to get her on. I need to add her to my list. But
there you go.
Yeah. So how did you go about finding that? Like,
yeah. So Katy's job in oil and gas was research. So she researched title and all that stuff. She's the researcher. That's why we know all the stuff that we know. She's the one that gets us there. She bypasses all the crap. So we just researched finding, you know, commercial kitchens and stuff. Yeah. It wasn't very, I mean, it was pretty difficult really to find, because there's not many of those.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Now more so. But
there are more options, but there's not a ton to work with there. Yeah. Yeah, and especially since in that case both of you were handling a weekly delivery service.
Yes.
So what kind of was there scheduling conflicts there?
Yeah.
Like that seems like maybe not a nightmare, but definitely not a fantastic daydream. Like
so the way Samantha had it set up, the term has like become really popular, the ghost kitchen. That's basically what she has. But her meal delivery, she delivered on Mondays. So that allowed us to go in Monday, Tuesday for cooking, prep, and delivery.
Did you already have a day that you like? Did you have to structure? So you had to kind of build the business around.
That's why our delivery's on Tuesdays.
Okay,
really.
Okay.
That's it. Honestly, that's why it stayed like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got that. You were there for I don't know how long, but a little while before you outgrew it. While you were so it wasn't. It was a little bit of a challenge to find that, but from there, how? What were some of the other initial like early hurdles that you had to deal with? Like, was you had a little bit of marketing for students to coaching? Like you had some of that background.
Yeah.
I don't know what Katy's background in any of that is, but was there any challenges around getting people interested? Was it a lot of word of mouth? Were you doing anything outward? Like what was...
So the only word of mouth we had was just our friends and family.
Yeah.
Right. But we knew we needed a website.
Yeah.
So, we came across this Instagram and this guy named Bradley Martin.
I think that's when I was regularly, when we were working out, I would spend 10 minutes as a warm-up just walking on the treadmill, and I would just be liking and commenting for those 10 minutes. That's what we were doing. And I think that's how that ended up coming about.
Yeah, and I saw your video. I saw your video with Liberty Pole and all that stuff. It was awesome. So that grabbed my attention. So then I saw the websites you were building. I was like, okay. I was like, well, we need a website. Remember we started with Square or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was our first website to be able to take orders. And so
how were you doing that before that? How were you taking orders? You were using like Facebook Messenger and stuff like that, weren't you?
Yeah,
okay.
We were taking orders. Yeah, we posted our menu like on Facebook after taking 4 years off of social media. I just let you know, we had to come back on social media and like figure this out or whatever. But it was a good thing because like you learn how to be a producer, not a consumer. But anyways, we're using Facebook Messenger, launching the menu, throwing it out there, Instagram, and then taking orders on DM.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems chaotic.
Oh, it was horrible.
That seems awful. It seems really terrible.
That was never want to go there.
Yeah, that seems very, very difficult and very unorganized.
Yes.
So it was just the two of you still at that point, right? Like it was still, you were just handling everything on your own. So we started working together. So from there, so that would have been, I don't know, we'll call it 2020. It was definitely before 2020 because it was pre-COVID.
It was, It
was definitely pre-COVID.
It was right before. It was before because 2019, November 2019 is when we LLC, but we were already, I think, in that process. So we definitely got started before that. Yeah.
So at what point, so the website was obviously a big piece to at least solving some of those issues. You guys were growing pretty quickly. You outgrew your space.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges came with outgrowing that? Like, at what point did you realize, oh shit, we need a new space? Like,
when we were stacking like 100 crunch wraps on this fold out table and just like all these meals and using this little space. And we were just like, wow, like this is, and then we realized, so we could only use it Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
We realized like, man, we need a whole nother day for like prep.
Yeah.
We need a whole nother day. So that's when we were just like, man. And then we started, bringing on delivery drivers and
so when you, okay, what led to so you've got all of these, What came first? Did you start having to bring on delivery drivers before you expanded into a bigger kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And were those just family friends, or like, how were you handling that?
Family, friends, people that were willing to accept food as their payment.
Okay. So that's how most of that was handled at the beginning. Like, I even know, I think we bartered for some of that stuff too.
Yeah.
Like
strawberry cake.
Yeah. That's good.
Fire.
Okay. So that's a great way to, so you realized there was the need, you guys couldn't handle it anymore. Like there was no way, but there also wasn't the,
overhead.
Yeah. The margins weren't there to actually hire somebody. How did you kind of work through, like, that's a difficult spot to be in.
Yeah.
Because you know the growth is, the potential's there. Yeah. You can see it because you're growing pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But the margins just aren't there to actually like lead to the growth. Which is kind of foreshadowing to where we're at now, but we'll end up getting to that. But what was that like, just thinking through that? Like, what was going through your head to bring on, you knew you had to bring on people, but was there any point that was like, how do you increase your profit margins? Like, how were you thinking through some of those issues? And maybe it's not something that is, well, yeah, just go. I'll stop blabbering. Obviously, if there's anything like you don't want to share, fine.
Oh, sure.
But
so really, like, honestly, like, to be honest, like this is like the weirdest thing, but we really weren't thinking about that, like profit margins and this and that and costs.
Well, so maybe not outwardly, but you at least saw that you needed the growth, the potential was there.
Yeah.
But you weren't making enough to actually get, like, it's that barrier that like you reach that plateau where it's like, okay, I can see this hill over here.
Yeah.
I can see that we can go up this thing.
Yeah.
We need some people like to help us though. And we can't really cover the cost of that. Like, I don't even know what the question is, but it seems like that is a very difficult position to be in.
So it is. But when you have something that someone else can also benefit from, it then becomes just the transfer of energy. Like, you give me your energy in terms of what you do.
Did you have problems? Sorry for interrupting you, but did you have problems finding people to help out in that?
No. Honestly.
Okay.
Honestly. I mean, it just, you go around and you tell people what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then someone else tells another person what you're doing. Someone else tells another person. And then you just have these cool, high energy people that are just like, man, and they try your food and they're like, wow. And they try your food and they feel good. And it's like, I'll come every Tuesday, and then you route me on my way home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And do that. So it becomes a synergistic relationship.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I mean by transfer of energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So that makes sense. That's still that's a tough spot to be in, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay. So you outgrow Hungry for Time.
Yeah.
And in Sam's Kitchen. And then you had to find another one.
Yeah.
How, like, so I'm assuming Katy's research mode again, find these spots. Was there any like real difficulty in finding that larger space, or what?
Oh man, I'm laughing so hard because this is one of those universe moments, honestly.
Okay.
Like, it was like the least hardest way to find.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah. We're in Hungry for Time one day, and I remember like it was yesterday. And we had put out some feelers out there. Katy threw something out there, and said, "Hey, we're running out of space," like on Facebook or whatever. So we lived like near Bellicera, the place we're at now, and I remember always driving by it. So I literally, I'm gonna turn around for this because I'm at the stove, like doing something for Katy, and I turned around and I said, "Hey, babe," I said, "Wouldn't it be nice if we got into Bellicera? Wouldn't it be nice if we got into Bellicera?
Didn't have to drive to Carnegie every day."
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice? I SHIT you not. I don't know if we're allowed to.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, okay. All right. I shit you not.
Yeah.
That night, right before going to bed, we get a Facebook Messenger from Jason Capps, the owner of Bellicera. Okay. And it says, "Hey, I heard you're looking for some space. Let's talk." Okay.
Fantastic. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's happened to me many times in life. It's just a matter of being able to see it.
Yeah. Okay. So that was easier. When you transitioned to a larger kitchen, was there an immediate jump in your output? Like, were there any significant changes in the way that you were operating?
Oh, gosh, yes. Because, like, Hungry for Time was just this little narrow building, front and back, like, probably 25 steps or 50 steps from the front to the back.
Yeah.
Bellicera, you got 200, 300 steps. So it really had to become like, how can I become more efficient in my steps? Because like this place will wear you down. I remember the very first meal delivery we were in Bellicera was actually Crunch Wrap Week, which is like the biggest, like, you know, people love it. And it was a disaster. It was horrible. It was one of the most draining, like, moments of my life.
In what way? Like, was it a disaster because it was so chaotic, or was it a growth? Like you?
Yes. Okay. Yes. It was a growth thing.
Okay.
You're in a new space. You have the most orders you've ever had. You don't know the layout. You didn't really think through the how you want to you know, do all the individual packaging, because it's a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
You have to grab. I mean, you touch. It's so many touches.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we're using carts and setting it all up on this long table, using carts and coming and, like, you know, putting.
So before that day, you hadn't actually gone through and figured you hadn't thought through that.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I'm assuming if you were to go back. I
saw that room back there. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah.
Okay, so
we just knew we needed to be there because of what happened.
Yeah. So, okay, so wow, that is wild. So you made that move there. I'm assuming you would do that differently. Like, I'm assuming you would think.
I do a lot of stuff differently. Yeah.
So when you're looking at spaces now, jumping ahead, would you work through like?
Oh yeah, Katy already has it. Katy already has it drawn out, like the flow. We know where the packaging is. We know where the refrigerator needs to come to all the cooking stuff, and after the cooking stuff, it goes to this station. Hey, we've already like designed our kitchen basically.
That's good.
For that workflow.
We learned. So after that first day though, or that first week of deliveries, was there a like, hey, we got to fix this moment? And was it a pretty quick transition to something that actually worked, or was that? I'm assuming it evolves. Like anything like that, you kind of evolve based on, your packaging may change or whatever. But was it a pretty quick like, hey, we need to spend a day figuring this out, and we need to do it before next week?
Well, just like anything in life, any of those like high emotion moments are really we just ebbed. Now we got to sit back. We got to flow. We got to come back, look at everything.
Yeah.
Okay. But the beautiful thing about our business model that we created is we have the time.
Yeah.
Right? We have the time to sit down and reflect.
Yeah.
In comparison to most businesses that are,
got a couple
24/7, whatever, you're managing a lot of people. You don't have time to get people in for training and stuff like that. So we had the time to sit there, reflect, and come up with solutions.
Yeah.
That's always been my thing. It's like, here's the problem. I'm not going to harp on the problem.
Yeah.
I'm just, what's the solution? Let's figure out the solution. That's how my mind works.
Yeah.
There's no gray in between.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's nice. It's good that you've figured. I mean, that is what's great. I mean, you've got a delivery once a week. Now, obviously there's more than a day involved in that.
Sure.
But you've got a little bit of time between there to make some corrections. So that's good.
Yeah.
Did anything else? So you guys started, what are some of the other, I've got some areas that I think might be interesting to cover, but I'll just, before we get there, was there anything else that stuck out after that transition that was a massive, like a problem that you didn't expect? Like, was there a difficulty sustaining the, that growth, or like what? Yeah. Like,
no. Honestly, I mean, once you're in a bigger space and you have larger equipment, you have capacity to do more scale, things actually sort of became easier.
Okay.
Because now I don't have to, do 10 pans of this. I can use a whole tilt skillet to cook all of it at once.
But from the outside, like actually keeping the sales up, was there any, so the flow of everything, like procedurally, everything gets easier.
Yeah.
But outside, was there any any difficulty in maintaining or continuing to kind of work towards that growth to be able to sustain that? Or did it just kind of naturally, I mean, from the outside and somewhat like a foot in every once in a while?
Yeah.
I've kind of seen it. So I know that it's been pretty steady, gradual increase, but was there any fear of that growth? Like, hey, we've got this big space now. We've got to, I'm assuming rent's higher now. Like we've got more to cover.
Actually, Jason's a great guy, and he knew he saw two entrepreneurs doing good things. And he wanted to really help us out. So
okay, that's
the rent actually wasn't that much higher. But in terms of fear of growth, yeah, absolutely, because our job is delivery, so you can cook all the food, but getting it out, finding delivery drivers and doing all that, that's where, like, there's two parts of meal delivery. It's not just cooking the food and preparing it. It's the logistics of getting the food to people, making sure that it gets, in a package, it gets there fine. It's not all over the place and it's cool and it's all that stuff. So that was really the cooking. We were getting very good at scaling recipes and bringing that up and finding the right packaging. But really what became the fear of the growth was, and opening up different zip codes was like, how are we going to reach those places without using like UPS or FedEx or something,
So how did you, obviously I know the answer to these, but, or at least to this, but what were some solutions to that? Like, obviously you're bartering with people to be delivery drivers, but there's only if you're expanding the areas that you're delivering and also expanding the amount of orders every week, there's a limit to that, especially with people that are, I mean, they've got to come to you, get the food, and then you're dispersing them. But there's only so much that can happen there. Yeah. What were some of the ways that you guys were able to overcome that as a limiting factor?
So we were using, at first we were just like doing our own routing through like MapQuest or something like that. You remember that? Yeah. So finding a solution for that. That's when we got on Shopify and started actually, so because of COVID, like when you kind of rewind back, when you tell people you start, November of 2018, everybody looks at you like, oh man, wow, that must have been and I'm sitting there, I have to tell them like,
people couldn't leave. I could give them food.
Exactly. Like meal delivery is what increased. The only thing that survived was like pizza restaurants and Chinese restaurants. They already have the master of takeout. Yeah. Already. So we just had to figure out the logistics of that. Yeah. So Shopify actually came out with an app. Like they designed it, that routes people and all that stuff. So that was a solution. What else was a solution? I mean, you probably know more of this than I do.
Well, you guys started using like drop-off locations.
Yes. Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you.
So how were you picking those? Like, what went into? Okay, so a little backstory. So the Shopify thing's an interesting point that I'll touch on from my perspective real quick. We had to get a little creative with that. Yeah. Because Shopify, at least at that time, they've made a lot of changes, but at that time it wasn't really set up very well for delivery.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But it was a cheap option to run an online platform without having to create something custom.
Yes.
So we had to get a little creative there. Now it's a lot simpler, which is great.
Yeah.
But there's still, I mean, it's still not set up incredibly well for that, but there's some ways around that. So that was from a like a platform perspective, that was kind of an interesting little challenge that we had to deal with. But then, so you start introducing these pickup locations.
Yeah.
How did you go about choosing those locations? Was there, talk me through that. Cause I'm assuming that seems like a pretty logical solution.
Yeah.
To the problem, but
yeah. So my idea was behind the pickup locations was I would rather deliver 10 packages to one location than 10 packages to 10 different locations. And then, also it was like, well, start creating synergy within the community and stuff like that. So we picked like J&D in Washington, which is an awesome Holly. What up? And then, in Sewickley. So we wanted something south. We wanted something west. So Moodporium, which is like CBD stress relief shop. Up north, Public Lands, Cranberry, Oakmont. So something east. Today's organic market. So anything like relating to just sustainability, really. Yeah. That's how we picked it. J&D is a winery, but it's vegan wine. It's low sulfite wine. Yeah. They don't use shellfish to process their wines or whatever. Huh. So so it was that. It had to be that same vibe.
Okay, so you're looking for businesses that are not necessarily in your space, but have the same, like you said, same vibe. Trying to do the right thing. And so were you trying to lead? Did you want to do more drop off? Like, was there an issue? Two things. One, was there an issue getting people to use those drop off locations? I know there was the incentive of no delivery fee.
Yes.
At least at that time. And as of right now.
Still. Yeah.
Could change in the future. Just to be evergreen here. But,
Come on.
But were you trying to get more people to do that? Was there any hesitance to doing that? Because now it's kind of delivery, but also kind of pickup and like customer. Like, is that used often, or?
I think a lot less more now. A lot less now. I don't know, maybe it's the price of gas. But yeah, it was nice at the beginning. I mean, J&D is a great spot. The other places, like, it's not that. It's sometimes not worth going there sometimes.
Were you making a lot of deliveries up there already? Like, to the places that you guys expanded to, you were already in them?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. That's funny that you say that. No. So maybe, we weren't. We probably did it backwards. We put somewhere, we put it in a place where we wanted to grow, but not a place where there's a concentration heat map of people there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's maybe backwards, but I don't.
Yeah.
I would argue like that logic makes sense to me, where it's like, hey, we want to be here.
Yeah.
Let's make it easy, and you're removing the delivery fee.
That's
so it's like, hey, we can expand to these areas, and if we can get up there, hopefully they'll all use the same one. Because even if you're only getting one or two, you're still gonna have to drive up there anyways.
Yeah.
Because they were delivered. Like, you had to deliver up there. But that allows you to at least have a central location, hopefully, maybe. Sure. But yeah, I mean, that could be something. It would be interesting to like run those tests parallel and be like, all right, well, this time we didn't include those, and see if you expanded up there. But for those locations now, since they've been active for a little bit longer, do you think it has led to more sales up there? Did it introduce you to those areas, or?
It introduced us to those areas, allowed us to see those areas and demographics and all that stuff. But honestly, it's gone, I think with the cost of gas, it's gone down. But also, just like everything in business, when you run your own business, like, you have to remember and make sure to market that, like, to tell people.
So, the relationships with those businesses that you were doing the drop-off locations, was there any, like, I feel like I might be wrong here, but J&D offered some type of discount for people that were picking up there, right?
Yeah.
Was there so that's one way to handle it. Was there anything else like cross-promotionally that those businesses were doing in store, or because you guys don't really have a product to leave?
Sure.
It's a order it, pick it up here, but you don't have like a shelf stable something that you can leave.
We could, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yes, you could, but as of right now, when you were introducing those things, or those relationships. So, was there any outside of the delivery dates? Did you have any relationship with those businesses that they were kind of introducing you to their clientele, or
not really? And that's where I feel like I wish we could have been better.
Mm-hmm.
But like most companies like have one job and one person doing that. When you're doing absolutely everything, just you and your wife, it gets difficult to make that connection and just maintain that connection and that relationship when you have to put your energy in so many places.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's also, that's something you can always work on those though.
Oh, absolutely.
That's something that isn't like we missed it. We missed it then, but we can make adjustments or make improvements, because that seems like a really easy way to just expand your visibility in those areas. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously there's got to be some type of cross promotion there on your end as well, but you guys have been good about, like, from my knowledge, like being open and posting regularly. There's, there maybe more than posting is necessary, but like it's a start. It's a start. And I know like J&D is a good example of, I think they're relatively good about calling you guys out too, but just some type of relationship or cross promotion there where sure, you're bringing customers to them during that one day, but how do you build that, like almost a community around that thing?
Synergy goes back to synergy, really.
Yeah. How can we both benefit from this? Like, obviously we're benefiting because we don't have to drive all over the place.
Sure.
But we're also bringing people to you, and how can we all grow more? Like, because really from their perspective, if they do better at, or whatever that means, it's if both people are pushing more, I might order from you and choose the pickup location because it might be less convenient, but I want to go to that location. Like, I want to go there, and I know I get a discount now. And from their side, it's like, oh, well, if pushing you more and their clients, their regular customers become more aware, well, then pickup day, their customers have to come back more. So there's so much that you can tap there.
I feel like honestly, from a small business owner point of view, that's one of the most difficult. Well, not one of the most difficult because it's actually easy, but it's one of the most things
it takes a lot of time.
Exactly.
It takes a lot of time to develop those. Really, it goes back to what you were talking about with in oil and gas. Actually, building those relations. I'm experiencing this right now with my new job, which is like, you can't just come in and not have a relationship and expect things to go as you're wanting them to go. Like, it takes a while to build and maintain those relationships. And if you're not doing it, how can you, it can come across, hey, we want to do these things. And that seems like it's really just benefiting you. It's like, well, no, like here's why. Here's why, but it doesn't make any sense if we don't have a relationship. And you, like you said, you've got a ton of hats on already. Maintaining relationships, that's a hat.
Oh yeah.
And it's a hat that is large and it's tough to fill.
Oh yeah. And especially for someone like me, like I used to have my phone on me for 6 years, 24/7. If something happened in the middle of the night, I'm out. I gotta whatever. So like, I mean, it's not that I don't like maintaining relationships, but I just don't like having my phone on me much. And, so it's just, it takes for busy business owners, like if I had a recommendation to help everyone grow and create a synergistic, just take some time, talk, and just on a monthly basis, talk to each other and say, like, hey man, what do you got going on that I can promote? Hey, what do you got going on that I can promote? and just, find the connections there.
Yeah. That is that's a good little clip there, because that is the title. Wonderful.
Clearing the way.
Well, that's the title for the episode I got.
Oh,
I got
nice.
That little bite. That little bite clipped it. Or,
nice.
Triggered it. So, but yeah, so that came up in a couple other conversations already, which is those relationships are so important for, when you're starting, and I mean throughout the whole thing, but especially when you're young in the process.
Well, you're tapping into other people's networks.
Yeah.
That's really what you're doing. Like,
yeah.
I have 2,800 followers. You have 5,000 followers, or whatever. Like, you rep me and I rep you, and then we just come together and have some fun, we all benefit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. We're back.
We're back.
Okay. So we've worked through or talked through a lot of the early to middle. I mean, I guess you're almost 3 years in now, so 2.5, whatever we want to call it. But so now we've got a new problem, which is the expansion.
Yeah.
Have you outgrown the current space? First question. Or is it we haven't outgrown it yet, but it's limiting what we can do. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. I would go with the second one.
Okay.
Because Belisar is huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge kitchen.
Yeah, but it is a shared kitchen still. So
but it is a shared kitchen. Yeah. So they have their events and all that stuff, which we have some ideas to talk to Jason about, some collaborative events.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's that other kick in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
And someone such as Jason Capps, like he knows that too. And he said it. He said, if you stay here too long, it's just going to stunt your growth.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when he said that. So yeah, it's one of those things where if we stay, it's going to stunt our growth, and we just need to make that move.
Okay. So when you, how long ago did you come to that conclusion?
Ooh, man, we were like technically supposed to be out like 5 months ago, but
okay.
Jason's been awesome with us. He's a great guy. He cares, and he sees that we're trying. But yeah, so we recently sold our home, because right now it just happens to be a great time to sell your residential home.
Yeah.
And we bought a commercial property, which right now is probably the worst time to sell a commercial property.
Yeah.
So we did good. We did good in the sale of our home, and we did good on the commercial property. We have a 1,200 square foot warehouse where our vision was to turn it into a commercial kitchen. And we're basically living out of the office space, which is like the drop ceilings and like the bright LED lights and stuff like that. It's driving me crazy. But we're living in that, literally to like move our mission and our business forward. Like this decision was made for that.
Okay. Okay. There's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Yeah.
So when you got the space, had you thought through, did you know what it was going to cost to build out a kitchen yet?
We had an idea, but honestly, we had no clue.
Okay. So you hadn't done like...
No.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. Like, and Katy will tell you, like, she's always saying, you always make everything sound so much easier than it is. It's like, because, and my friend JC said it today. He said, you always have these great ideas, but you never take the time to kind of plan. To plan it out, think of it.
That's an important piece.
It is. Yeah. It is, but also like having the vision is important too.
For sure.
Like seeing it and being certain and confident in it.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many planning things that
you can definitely plan yourself into what is it, like paralysis by analysis.
Exactly.
You can absolutely do that.
And you can draw it out.
Yeah.
So sometimes my method is just like, let's jump into the cold water.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then as now that we're there, we're in the space, we're feeling it out. Some things are happening. We're realizing like these costs are going to be really expensive, to the point where we almost gave up and like just abandoned the crowdfunding video and all that stuff, because we're like, we feel so bad asking for like this much money, and like, no one's gonna do this and that, like self-sabotaging ourselves. But we talked to actually, it's funny, one of the Bella Sarah chefs, Gary, and he's the one that motivated us to basically be like, we showed him the video, like the one I sent to you, and he's like, you got to get this out. You got to get this out. Don't stop. You're like right there, you're right there. So that's where we're at now. So what led to the decision to go with crowdfunding? How did you, so actually, at what point did you decide that? And then how did you come to that decision? Like, were you already in the news space before you figured out, or when you figured out like, hey, we might want to do this? Or how did that? We thought we had enough money from the sale to pay. We quickly realized after like a $20,000 engineering architectural drawing quote that wasn't going to happen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I knew about crowdfunding. I had dabbled in it before and this and that, but really the decision was made a few months ago when we partnered up with Mark Dixon. He's actually a really awesome local environmental documentary. Mm-hmm. And he just decided to take on our project for like a way lower cost because of our mission and our purpose. So that's when we started, and we were like, okay, we're going to go for it. Did you consider other more traditional routes of funding? Oh, had you considered, and what led you away from those? I mean, when you have a good enough purpose and your business is rooted in something that's actually doing something good, banks don't really care. Yeah, but there's other, I mean, I didn't know this before, but there are other there's other non-traditional, like non-bank funding and some things like that. Like, I don't know, I know more about those things now just based on working for a nonprofit, but yeah, like, I guess, did you explore any of those, or was it kind of like, it's not banks, or did you try banks actually? That's a good place to start. Did you try going that route, or? Yeah, actually, since we didn't have a full 2 years taxes, that's a problem. To get this commercial property, we had to jump through, we had to research and talk to so many people to even approve us for a commercial loan. So that was another hurdle right there. And another hurdle was the zoning. We had to go in front of the zoning committee because since that was a detached garage, like, weren't able to operate our business out of there. So we had to go to zoning and all. That was another hurdle. Yeah. That was another so we went to a lot of banks, but I mean, we're a small business. We're in the food industry, which is like not growing right now. Yeah. But this bank actually believed in us. The president saw our website, saw what we were doing and this and that. And honestly, it was like, he said to us, most food businesses, are profitable within 5 to 7 years. You guys are profitable in 2. Or in less than 2. So he saw what we were doing and they believed in us, basically. The bank to get the commercial loan. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. But no, just straight up loans. I don't know. We probably wouldn't, or maybe, I don't know. But it's not a route that, And then you look at a lot of companies that are IPOing and stuff like that, or like investors are interested in. Mm-hmm. And I did a little research in that, and almost all of those investors say you have to have done a crowdfunding campaign because they know you already have people buying in and investing in you. Yeah. That gave you the jump. Now here I am as an angel investor, whoever. Yeah. Like I'll give you the next jump.
Yeah. Okay. So crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Have you launched that yet? You've got the video made, but have you actually started the actual like
Katy's working on that right now, honestly.
So did you pick a platform for that, and what route, how did you figure out what you were going to use for that?
So,
or have you not, or like how's
we
that?
have.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought Shopify has one called Crowdfunder, which is like just a monthly cost. So if you're like doing something small, like launching a product or this and that, that's the best way to go because they don't take a percentage of.
I guess because they're already taking it in the sales. So
exactly, they're taking it in the sales. They're just charging a month to have that app or whatever. But the downfall to that is like if you don't have like a huge following, you can use another platform and leverage their marketing team and all that stuff because they obviously they want you to raise a lot too. Yeah. So they'll put you in front of a lot. So I looked at GoFundMe, I looked at all these other ones, and I kind of fell onto Kickstarter. Okay. Because they allow the tiers and they unlock the tiers and stuff like that. So
the others don't.
No, not really. No, because I did
That's kind of crazy.
Well, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Maybe I didn't see it.
I don't know. I
should have talked to you.
I don't know. I have almost no experience in any. We had a Patreon for our disc golf channel, but but that's it. Like, I don't have any real crowdfunding knowledge or experience. So that's interesting. That doesn't make a ton of sense.
So there's crowd financing, or not? Yeah, there's crowd financing, which actually there's a local company. Honeycomb we thought about, but it's just like, you pay like a high percentage. They do marketing and all that for you and all that stuff. Then you have crowdfunding, and then you have crowd like investing as well. So we don't want to give up any portion. We're family owned business. Yeah. My mother-in-law does our desserts and father-in-law does all of our bread. So we're keeping it family owned. So that's why we landed on crowdfunding, because we truly believe that like our story and our mission is something that people will back and believe in.
Yeah. So you ended with Kickstarter and you're still setting that up. Do you have an anticipated launch date for any of that, or?
Probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks, because we took 4th of July holiday off, so we're working with some video content creators. We've had some people just met this dude just walking down the road in the Strip District. He happens to be the creator of the documentary Invisible Hand. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like an environmental documentary. It's gone worldwide. Just attracted this dude, and he's like, yeah, let's do something. But anyways, so we're getting some good content and stuff going, and then we'll probably launch within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. Well, maybe I have a scheduled date, but we might be able to adjust those.
Okay, cool.
Make that work. But have there been any other with the like setting up the crowdfunding stuff? Has it been relatively straightforward? Like, is it?
It's easy.
Okay.
It's so easy. Yeah. It's laughably easy. I mean, honestly, those programs, they got it figured out. Yeah. They alert you when to share it on social media. They probably know the times of the days, all that stuff, the algorithm. I mean, they want you to raise money. Yeah.
Was there any issue with platform-wise, they've got it all together, setting it all up on your end, like figuring out how to best disperse your message or to show your message? Sure. Like, was there any issues with that? I mean, you guys have been pretty it's not like things have changed a lot. Like your reason is your reason, and it's been your reason. So it's not like there's any issue with that. But was there any Yeah. Any challenges in setting up or figuring out how to best do that?
Right now we haven't reached that point. But what I've come to realize now is like we've built a pretty solid following. You know, although all these people are not ordering from us.
Yeah, it doesn't
right?
matter.
Doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like they believe in us, they follow us. So now it's just a matter of like asking that person, yo, if you believe in us and you believe in what we're doing and you want to see us continue moving forward and bringing good quality food to this community, you know, share it.
Yeah.
Share.
Yeah.
Share. Tell somebody. Tell your grandma. Tell your, tell your uncle. Tell your dentist. Tell your doctor.
Yeah.
Just tell somebody, what we're doing and why we're doing it, and show them our video that we're getting ready. You saw it.
Yeah.
You've seen it. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, that's there. I'm sure there's going to be a round 2 of this at some point once you've gotten through some of that. 'Cause that seems, it seems difficult that whole process. It's weird. It could either, I don't know. I'm so inexperienced in that.
Yeah.
That it's, I don't know. It seems very, it could be challenging to get. I mean, you're asking people to give money.
So here's what I've heard, what I've learned, and I've done some research on it. The two, some of the few things: don't over, oh my God, don't overpromise.
Yeah.
Right. You don't overpromise. Be genuine. Don't overpromise. And what you say you're going to give. Yeah. Deliver it. And for us, it's going to be like digital products.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest and most sustainable thing for us.
Yeah.
To give, and it'd be easy. So don't overpromise and deliver what you say you're going to do, and also be ready to answer a lot of questions. I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing. Is like people with money are going to reach out to you and ask you certain questions and blah 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 and this and that. So really, it's just if you don't have the energy to sit there and answer all these questions, you better have somebody ready to be there that can filter through these things and blah, 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 because you're going to get reached out to by a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, people are giving you money.
Exactly.
They're giving you money.
Yeah.
I want to make sure this is being used in a way that isn't going to be a waste.
Exactly.
A
scam.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Or a scam. Which is also that's not uncommon.
Oh, in my research, some vegan ones actually that have just, we're moving here, we're moving to Boca Raton, and they don't show up, and everyone's, you read messages saying, where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? And ghost, so yeah, I mean, that's there too.
So is the plan to still build out your current space, or like what, how are you? Because that doesn't seem like it's going to be done anytime soon. No. Like the crowdfunding, like that's something that's going to take a little bit of time.
It could take some time, or we could wake up the next morning and have $500,000. You never know. Yeah. You never know. But the actual build out of the kitchen, that takes time. The drawings and all that stuff. We haven't even moved forward with the architectural drawings, because it's like we're not forking out that much money, and then like we're either all the way in or we're not. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So still, is there an end, like a time that you have to be, you already said and we're already kind of 5 months past our time. Like it's kind of quick, as soon as possible, I'm assuming as soon as possible.
We're also creating a synergistic relationship. We're helping, we're helping out and giving our energy and our, so it's and the head chef at Bachelors, Jimmy, he's really gained a big interest in what we're doing. It's just like,
okay.
And the sous chef, Gary, actually the whole staff and everything. I mean, it's, we come there, we bring good vibes, and it's just a synergist. We're creating a synergistic.
Okay. So not a rush, but not,
we're not taking more than we give. Just put it that way. So,
okay. Any final, anything that sticks out that we didn't cover as a one of those like, oh, I would have really loved to have known this when we were starting, or this is an easy fix that we could have made to a challenge that it was a massive pain that is like, oh man, we could have easily done this. Like the planning thing seems like
I just think, so planning. Yeah. That's one thing that I've learned is like, if you want to be very successful, get good at planning.
Yeah.
Or find somebody that's good at planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You know, I mean, really, okay, some advice is don't figure out how. Don't always try to figure out how. Try to figure out who. Like we just spent a 10-minute conversation and the person we were talking to laid out a whole catering thing and their experience and how they would break down the price and all that stuff. Yeah. It's like, wow, I would have spent a lot of time researching that, you know? So don't always try to figure out how, figure out who. In terms of business and in terms of life, you're always going to get met with resistance. So it's just a matter of seeing it, pausing, taking a step back, taking a deep breath, really calming down, and then figuring out the solution, like your way around it. Like being like water, path of least resistance, just move around it without friction. Yeah. You know, these things are going to happen. And it's not, oh my God, you know, it's like, okay, what just happened? Let's do this. Yeah. Let's figure it out. Let's not panic. Because the more stress you keep compounding and holding on to, the thing about a business owner is once you become overwhelmed, you lose your creativity. Yeah. And when you lose your creativity, you lose that original sense of a vision that you had when you were starting your business. Yeah. So you don't want to lose that creativity. You want to do things that you love to do things that bring you energy, do things that fill your cup. You know, you want to do things that are going to enhance that creativity and keep that vision alive. So that's important.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And another thing I wanted to cover is just, our why, right? Like I don't think we really covered why are we doing this. Okay. And, our reason is, we named it Everest Eats after our son Everest, and we're getting ready to launch Denali Treats soon, which is our daughter, to create a more sustainable place for our children. Yeah. Okay. What I was saying about those industries, that causing some issues, it's causing issues that are creating huge environmental impacts. And I don't think most of us realize, and I just recently learned this and came to this conclusion, is what we eat and what we consume directly impacts our resources and our environment. Yeah. And some of those practices are just unsustainable. But what is sustainable for the environment and for your body is to eat more plants, just eat more plants. And that's what we're doing. The way that we're changing, like Southwestern PA is not, my wife and I'm from Florida. I'm not saying that as an insult. My wife is from Amity, PA. Yeah. Okay. Just the mindset about vegetarian or vegan or whatever diet is not open. Yeah. But what we're doing is we're taking a fruit and we're taking a vegetable that's similar in texture. We're adding similar flavors to what you're doing, and we're turning watermelon into ahi tuna. Yeah. And king oyster mushrooms into scallops. Yeah. So we're just taking what people are used to already eating and making that connection. When they put it in their mouth, they make that connection like, wow, this tastes exactly like it, but it's made out of a plant, which is way more sustainable than the animal protein that we are all used to eating. Yeah. So. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah. I don't know where else to go from there. Let's see. Yeah, that's a solid spot to kind of, what are we at? Yeah, we're a little over close to an hour and 45. So, okay. All right. I'd say we've covered a lot of, we've covered a lot. Yeah. And I think it was helpful. So EverestEats.com. EverestEats.com.
Everest Eats on Instagram and on Facebook.
At Everest Eats on Instagram. At
Facebook's
Everest Eats plant-based.
Yeah.
For Facebook. Yeah.
Any other anything else? Any closing? We've got the crowdfunding. If that's live by the time this is released, that'll be, all of those things will be down below.
Yeah.
And yeah, any last
thing,
parting words?
I'm famous in looping it right back. And one of the first things you said is like, I'm not vegetarian, I'm not vegan.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy your food. Is food is food.
Yeah. If it tastes good, I don't care what it is.
If it tastes good, yeah.
I still like meat.
yeah.
I'm still gonna eat it, but it's a supplement. It's a way to it's just a way to just mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if it tastes good, I don't really care. Yeah. If it tastes good, I don't care.
So that's all. It's just, you don't have to be vegetarian. You don't have to be vegan.
Yeah.
You don't have to commit to anything. No. But good food is good food. And what our customers say the most is, when I eat your food, I feel great. I don't know what it is. That's it.
Yeah.
You eat good food. It tastes good. You feel good. And it's better for the planet. So
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That is another episode. I actually, at this point, I don't know what episode number this will be. We'll see when the crowdfunding is, when you're actually going to release that. And then I'll kind of base this off of that. But
thank you.
Yeah, that's another episode. Thanks for listening and watching. Till next time. See ya. Thanks for listening, watching, wherever you're consuming this. I'm your host, Bradley Martin, and this is Clearing the Way, a resource for small business owners.